Live from Sin City, it's the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Diet Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe. Shane's with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Griffin. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. This has been a pretty topsy-turvy week for me.
I was just talking about how you don't travel, and then now you traveled to LA. So
yeah, so like here's what ended up happening this week. Sunday last Sunday I ended up winning the championship, but I'm like too
Congratulations.
busy. Thank you. I'm like too busy to celebrate because I'm editing this show and the other podcast that I record, Walk Like a Mailman. And so we do all our activities on Sundays with recording and editing and trying to get the show out. So I'm planning on this weekend being my celebratory weekend. And then I go to work on Monday, and then the boss basically asks, "Hey, anyone want to go to LA this week to go work on doing a big install project?" And I get the feeling I'm the only one that was even semi-interested in it.
Really, just crickets after he said that?
Pretty much. I mean, he sent an email, we're all out in the field and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one that kind of showed any interest. And so with it, basically, I had to drive to LA on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Find out about this thing midday Monday, drive to LA on Tuesday, have to, get hotel reservations and all that stuff through like the company. It was a bit of a to-do.
Really?
I had a
you get
doctor's
per
appointment
diem too?
Yeah, I had a per diem and everything. I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday that I had to like try to finagle around too.
Oh, geez.
So I ended up going to LA. Everything went successfully. And I ended up going to the Dodgers game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was Clayton Kershaw Bobblehead night too?
Yes, it was. I got myself a bobblehead.
Dude, double score on that one.
Double score. And somebody called me a piece of bleep for not selling my bobblehead to him. I think he thought I had like multiple bobbleheads in my bag because I was carrying my stuff around. I didn't want somebody to just steal my stuff. I had a jacket in there. I had one bobblehead visible, and maybe the guy thought I had multiple bobbleheads or something. I'm like, I'm not selling the one bobblehead that I got. Thank you very much.
Was it someone in the stadium who didn't get there early enough, or
I don't know.
Yeah.
There were 40,000 of these bobbleheads made for Dodger Stadium. It wasn't like,
Yeah, they should feel lucky because in Seattle they give us like 10 if you're lucky. So
yeah. Like I see when the Red Sox do their bobblehead nights, it's like 7,500 bobbleheads.
Yeah, exactly. You got to show up like 2 hours early and then they're gone, basically.
I did show up like 2 hours early. I literally got to the place at they let me out early actually to work through the traffic and everything. So I got out. It still took me like an hour to get there, even though I was only 10 miles away. That's LA traffic for you.
Yeah, apparently it's just only getting worse too. So.
Oh man. I also met my stepbrother who lives in LA for
Cool.
dinner the following night, and that was still like an hour-long drive to get to the restaurant in Burbank. But this was like around 5 p.m. ish, rush hour and everything.
Were you staying in LA proper or?
I was in West Hollywood.
Okay, yeah, so basically almost.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I was able to drive by some of the studios. I wasn't that far from the CBS lot from where I was.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Dodgers game. Let's go back to baseball. Dodgers game was a load of fun. It was a Dodgers Padres matchup. And of course, the Padres were trying to sneak away with the NL West.
Yes.
The Padres consider the Dodgers their rival, but the Dodgers consider the Giants their rival and don't really care about the Padres much.
Well, I'll probably care about him after this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Padres ended up losing the game that it went to, but it was a pretty close game throughout.
Yeah.
It's tied 3-3 going into the fifth inning with Cease and Flaherty pitching a really good matchup.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's great. That sounds awesome.
Although the game itself was pretty sloppy. There were like 11 to 12 walks in the game.
Oh geez. Okay. Just walking
Yeah.
everybody, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Fernando Tatis hit a like a 430-foot home run. That was just a nuclear blast.
And he's not juicing, so that was all him.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not juicing. At least not juicing that we know of.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to guess which Padres player got booed the loudest?
Manny Machado?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes. Yes.
He and Tatis got booed the loudest, but Manny was the absolute loudest of the bunch.
Why are they booing Manny?
My guess is that Manny played for the Dodgers at one point. He was traded to the Dodgers in 2018. He was on that World Series team that lost to the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he left as a free agent the following year.
Yeah.
And when San Diego is out there giving you 10 years, $300 million, it's kind of a good deal.
Plus, you get to live in San Diego. I mean, that place is beautiful. So
I think he lives on
expensive, but beautiful. So.
Well, I mean, when you get $30 million a year, I think you kind of do okay there.
One would hope you could afford to shop at La Jolla on that money. So
I think Manny's lives on Coronado Island.
Of course he does.
which is beautiful, beautiful if you've ever been down there. And I did go down to Coronado Island when I went to San Diego a few years ago.
Yeah, I think next year. I don't think I'm really traveling that much, but on my list, I'm gonna go see my brother who also lives in LA. He lives in Huntington Beach, and we're gonna go to a Dodger game, and I'm gonna convince him that we should drive down and see a Padres game at Petco Park too. So,
well, I will tell you, I think Petco is the best ballpark that I've been to.
don't they have like a grass berm that you can sit on too?
I don't remember if they do or not. It's
Maybe
been 5 years since I've been there.
Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm even more excited to go if it's the best one.
But yeah, I think it's the best one. You want to stay down in San Diego and walk around because they got the gas lamp district.
Yeah.
And it's just a great vibe down there for games. And if you like go, a couple block or two over, you're right near the water, and it is amazing.
So getting back to LA, is that a live organ at the Dodger game?
I believe so. I can't speak for certain on that.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that I thought was pretty cool is they still have the organ player, playing all the blooper songs and riffing off of Taylor Swift and whatnot. Every time I listen to games or watch highlights, I'm always like, oh, that's pretty cool that they still have that going on. So
yeah. So speaking of with the per diems and stuff at the game, one of the things I had to do was I had to be really sneaky about trying to find a restaurant where I could consider passing my dinner expenses off to make it look like I wasn't at the ballpark.
Oh yeah, so what did you do?
So with the Shohei Ohtani being there, I spent a good hour looking around for restaurant options.
Yeah.
Thought about Shake Shack, and I had Shake Shack when I went to Washington D.C. and I wasn't overly impressed with it.
Yeah, I'm not
but that was that was an idea because she could probably pass Shake Shack off. But then I found a Japanese restaurant and it had it had a Japanese name on it. Didn't say a ballpark thing. It was it had a Japanese name, and I was like, okay, this might work.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting some chicken fried rice and a souvenir cup, and that was $40.
Oh yeah, that's dinner.
And I threw a tip in there too to throw the scent off.
Yeah, exactly. Really make it look like dinner, not at the ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah. The only weird thing was like it didn't have my name on it or anything when I did like I managed to get a physical receipt and it didn't have my name on it or anything. It was kind of weird, but I could maybe pass that off as like
Yeah.
machine was having issues, with the reading, but that's what it was. And
Probably just overthinking it way too much.
we'll find out how it goes next week when I submit all the costs for the trip.
Yeah.
But
What
yeah,
is
I
there
had to.
anything like specifically special about the Dodger Stadium or
It's an older stadium,
yeah.
larger stadium than most of the MLB stadiums because they've started scaling back a lot of the stadium sizes now in recent years.
That's right. When you're saying 40,000, I know that the Mariners like holds like 35, I think, or maybe more than that, but
A lot of the newer ones are coming in under 40 now.
yeah, no, that makes sense. So
Yeah, I think the whatever one of the A's decide to build wherever it ends up being built,
yeah,
it's probably going to be under 40,000.
yeah. Hopefully Salt Lake City, that'd be cool. So, I
Yeah,
thought
well,
about moving there because I want to ski until I die. And so on my list of mountain towns to relocate to is Salt Lake. So
oh, cool.
yeah,
Well,
we'll see if it happens.
speaking of the A's played their last home game in Oakland this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of a guy who had a photo of himself for the first game in 1969, and then he was, or I don't know if that's accurate in when the park opened, but 60s at some time. And he was like 14 years old or something like that. And then he had a picture of himself now, however many years later, back to back. He's like, I went to the first game and now I'm at the last game, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. I still get the feeling Oakland's going to get a baseball team again at some point, and I think it's going to be comically interesting when it does happen.
Yeah.
Like there still hasn't been enough here in Vegas to make me feel like convinced that it's actually happening.
I don't think it is personally myself. So, I
I
mean, you
know I
guys
know if you
voted it
talk
down in a referendum twice, and then the mayor kind of just went over your heads and is like, well, this is happening. And
well,
I don't know. I don't know if it is. So,
yeah, I understand out here the mayor Carolyn Goodman, she's not really the mayor of Vegas proper.
oh, okay.
See, like she's got this weird downtown Las Vegas district, but like the actual like strip and stuff where they were talking about doing all this stuff is considered unincorporated and it's not part of the mayor's territory. It's really screwy out here.
Oh, weird. Is that because all the casinos are there? Or?
Yeah, like the strip is unincorporated land. It's a lot of it is anyway. But downtown Las
Interesting.
Vegas, sort of
Yeah.
that section, that's where the mayor considers their territory. That's why the mayor's always pushed for stuff downtown versus like the strip because that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
stuff they
That's
have
like down
control of.
by. That's like down by like Fremont Street, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the 51s used to play at a place called Cashman Field down there, and it was down by the Fremont Street. And now they play now that they're the Aviators and they're the A's minor league team, they play up in Summerlin, which is west of the Strip, and they built a new ballpark at least 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah. Voted best minor league ballpark in America
It
2 years in
is,
a
it
row
is a
now.
good ballpark. It is a good
Yeah.
ballpark.
Yeah, my
Much.
parents live right there by the Red Rock, so we can just literally take. My dad loves riding the electric scooters, so we take the electric scooters around every time we're there. So,
Yeah.
dude, talk about a missed opportunity though. The 51s is such a great name for a minor league team in Nevada.
I mean, they were for a while. The 51s,
Yeah,
even back when the Mets were the affiliate, they've had a lot of different teams being the affiliate of the Vegas minor league team over the years.
yeah. Fun, really quick fact. I was literally born the day after uh, the what's his name threw a no hitter in the 1988 World Series. The Dodger pitcher. I was literally born the day after that day. I was in. My
Oral
mom went to.
Hershiser, did Oral Hershiser do that, or is that?
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that.
I
But
don't. Well, we didn't talk about this in the rundown, obviously.
But but yeah, my mom says that because my dad made her walk up that super long road to the stadium uphill, that's what caused her to go into labor, and then I was born the next day.
Oh, how funny.
So technically, I've been to a World Series. I just, was inside of my mother still. So
Ah, yes. So at the Dodgers game, all of the freaking merchandise there was like 50-50.
oh yeah,
That just
and he
happened
still
last week.
hasn't hit the 55th, right? So we're still good
Yeah,
on
and
that.
today, as we're recording, is the final day of the regular season. And all I
Perfect.
can say is that having bought merchandise related to the 50-50, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want him getting 55-55. That makes all the stuff I bought just completely worthless.
I don't want
It's
him to get
55-55 is
55-55
in the new
either.
one.
Yeah. Well, also because one of his home runs is off of a middle infielder or an outfielder anyway, a
Oh,
position player. So,
that doesn't matter. I mean, Albert Pujols, had one of his 700th ball or something hit off of a.
I mean, they all have. I'm just, really just joking.
It counts the same.
Just like his defensive indifference steal too counts the same. So
Yeah, yeah. That's a steal, dude. The catcher made a motion to try and throw, and then he didn't throw because he realized Ohtani made it to the bag already. He overshot the bag and shot and put his leg back with some major swag there.
yeah,
And also, like, none the second baseman and the shortstop weren't there. They're in the throw.
yeah,
So why
because
would
yeah,
he?
that's what I'm saying is the
That's not the
catcher
catch.
didn't get the team memo. So
That's not the catcher's fault that the second baseman and the shortstop weren't there
okay,
to
so
throw
let's look
to.
at this situationally. There's a runner on third, by the way,
Yeah.
who is like almost halfway down. It's an 0-2 count. There's no because Luis Camposano is a rookie, and that's the only reason why I think he pops up in that situation. It's a
They
one run. It's a one run game. You don't throw the ball to second because the guy's going to come home from third.
they don't but you make it look like it. The fact that he went up and at least looked like he might have thrown the ball or something automatically removes the the
Yeah,
catcher's indifference,
yeah.
defensive
No, I
indifference
mean
on the play.
when we talked about it, I looked at it again. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But
They
if I'm the
usually don't
official,
call a defensive indifference till like late in the game anyway. This is like
yeah.
I think the fifth or sixth inning when this happened.
Yeah. Well, Shane as the official score of that game, that would have been
In
not
in,
been
in
good.
Shane's official record book, that's not a stolen base.
Exactly. He's only at 55 steals this year.
Well, I think he stole another one because
Oh,
he's at
whatever,
57.
dude.
Because he broke Ichiro's record. That was the thing you were mad about. He tied Ichiro's
Yeah,
and then he broke it.
they can't even let us. We haven't even been to a World Series. What's he doing, breaking Mariners records, dude? Just don't be. You don't have to be rude about it. I get you're a good player, so.
Well, the record was the fact that Ichiro is Japanese, not that he played for the Mariners.
Well, but
That
he
was the
happened to
record, was
be
the
one of the
Japanese player.
Mariners. He happened to be one of the best outfielders in baseball and played for the Mariners. So.
Yes. Well, speaking of the Mariners, they got eliminated from the playoffs. And
Again.
the Tigers made it. We
Yeah,
actually
dude.
have a
Dude,
full AL
Scooby Doo's
bracket.
on a roll. Let's go, Scooby.
And you got people arguing that Scooby Dooby Doo isn't even the Cy Young Award winner. But let's get back to
Yeah.
the AL playoff situation because that bracket is actually official.
Yes.
I don't think there's any changes at this point with the
Nope.
last game of the year. So you've got the Yankees as the 1 seed, the Guardians as the 2 seed, Baltimore as the 4 Houston as the 3 seed, Baltimore is the 4 seed, Tigers 5, Royals 6. So in the first round of the playoffs, you've got the Astros versus the Royals, and you've got the Tigers versus the Orioles.
Nice.
Yeah.
That Tigers Orioles should be a good. Those should be some good games. So.
And it looks like, and I don't know if they do reseeding or not in baseball the postseason, but the way
Yeah.
that it looks right now, the winner of the Orioles Tigers series will face the Yankees, and the winner
Ooh.
of the Royals Astros series will face the Guardians.
Oh man, I think, man, I don't, for whatever reason, I just feel like the Astros have just got an easier. They will have an easier time making it farther in the playoffs than the Orioles or the Tigers. So
I think so too. I mean, the Royals are total frauds. I mean, if it
yeah,
wasn't for the White Sox, they'd be below 500. Let's be honest.
yeah. I think I'm gonna agree with you too on the Royals there. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they got to play the Cheat Stros, and the Cheat Stros are gonna be good again because they, whatever. I don't know what it is, but I hate it because I'm not an Astros fan, but they play so well under pressure. It's kind of annoying. So
Yeah. No, I think
I'm annoyed by
the Astros.
them.
I think the Astros are going to the ALCS again at the very least.
Yeah, I would love to see Astros, Yankees. I think that would be a fantastic series. So
I don't have any faith in the Guardians winning, even though they have Emmanuel Clase, who is the best closer in baseball right now.
yeah,
They just
apparently
keep
they're
pouring
trying to
out.
give him a Cy Young too, and I'm so happy that you told me that pass and just really took that guy to town for saying that. So
You could have considered making an argument for Class A had the Tigers not made the playoffs, but
yeah,
Tigers made the playoffs now, and Scooble was a big reason why they did.
oh yeah.
He's clearly
And Riley Green's having a great year after Tommy John. So
oh yeah. Riley Green has been a big part of that offense. I mean, like we've mentioned before, man, losing Javi Baez, like just I think was the spark.
yeah, your that team batting average went up 100 points probably.
Yeah. So now that Orioles Tigers series looks really interesting because I
Yeah,
thought at the beginning of the year that the Orioles would do better in the playoffs this year, but their pitching is just such a mess. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up. I mean, I think they're going to whoever wins the series is probably going to get beat by the Yankees.
yeah. It's crazy because their team has the same problem it did last year, which is if they could just find passable pitching with how much offense they have going on, it seems like they would just crush everyone. But
I mean, they do have Burns is at least healthy for
yeah,
the
that's true. And
Orioles.
he's pitching really well too. Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
like third or fourth in Cy Young voting or something like
Yeah,
that
I
right
mean,
now.
he hasn't been as good as he's been in past years, but he's still really good. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles the October pressure.
Yeah.
But I still think it's probably going to be the Yankees and Astros in the championship series.
Yeah, man. As long as the Astros wear those Space City jerseys that's all throughout the playoffs, I think those are some of the best jerseys in baseball.
Now, the National League though is a bit of a mess right now.
Oh, dude, is it still a three-way tie between the Mets, Braves, and who's the last team in January?
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the
It's the
D-bags.
only three teams there. So
Yeah,
in the National League, the divisions are pretty much locked up at this point.
yeah,
And the Dodgers are the top seed, and the Phillies are, I believe, the two seed.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not 100% sure they've locked that in or not because they could mathematically tie with the Brewers. I'm not sure the
yeah.
tiebreakers.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
As of right now, it's the Dodgers one seed, Phillies two seed, and then the Brewers won the division, so they're the three seed.
Yeah,
Padres are the four seed. They have clinched that. But the question is over the five and the six seed. And
yeah,
Atlanta and the Mets were supposed to play a 3-game series earlier this week to decide that.
uh-huh.
Fortunately, because of a hurricane situation that was going on down in that part of the country and the games being based in Atlanta, they weren't able to play two of the games.
I know this is going to be so exciting, man.
So, depending upon how things go today, they may have to play a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was official. I thought they were officially playing a doubleheader tomorrow.
Well, the thing is, it's like doubleheader if necessary. It's like
Gotcha.
if because as of right now, the Braves have a 1-game lead over the Mets.
Oh, they took a because last time I looked at it, they were in a three-way tie down there at the bottom. So the Braves are
Okay,
up.
so officially, I'm just looking this up now here. The wild card standings, you have the Braves are currently 88 and 71. The Mets are 87 and 72. And then the Diamondbacks are 88 and 73.
Oh yeah, they're currently out of those, so they need to win today.
So
Otherwise,
according
they're not
according
going.
to the math, at least according to what ESPN is saying, the
Yeah,
Mets and the Diamondbacks are technically tied.
yeah,
But the way that it works, one has 3 games left to play, and possibly one has 2.
yeah, exactly.
So the Diamondbacks play the Padres today.
Yeah.
The Braves play the Royals, and the Mets play, I believe, the Brewers.
Oh, geez, that's going to be a tough ask for the Mets.
Yeah, and none of the games have obviously started today. Everything is pretty much starting around like noon,
Yeah,
Pacific time today.
yeah, that makes sense.
But what's the crazy situation is tomorrow is normally the off day, and then the playoffs start on Tuesday. And the whole thing is they play like 3 games in a row in one city now for the wild card. It's how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
So
Which honestly, I like better than the one game winner takes all was definitely super exciting, but I like the short 3 game series.
So the crazy thing that's going to end up happening is like we don't know like the travel arrangements for all these things.
Oh yeah, that's
But
right.
one of these teams is going to have to fly to San Diego, likely.
Yeah, yeah,
And one of these teams is going to have to probably fly back to Milwaukee. So if it's the Mets,
yeah,
you got the Mets playing in Milwaukee, having to fly to Atlanta, and then possibly having to fly back to Milwaukee
yeah. That's a lot of traveling in
or
three
having to
days.
fly to San Diego
Yeah, that's true.
after playing a doubleheader.
Well, so if Arizona loses, then they don't have to play the game essentially. So,
I mean, uh, I haven't looked at the full-on scenarios yet, but
because Arizona has one more loss than the Mets.
yeah,
So if they lose again today, it won't even matter if the Mets lose because Arizona will still have
they
one
may
more
still have to
loss.
play for seeding because one of the things in this situation is that whoever wins this series between the Mets and the Braves had the tiebreaker
Oh yeah, that's right.
between the
Okay.
two teams. So if it ends
Yeah.
up being that the Mets and the Braves end up having, let's say the Diamondbacks lose today,
Yeah.
you could still have a situation where the Mets could have the same number of losses as the Diamondbacks.
Oh yeah, if they drop both games in the doubleheader, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it depends entirely like on how today's games go.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
like we can't even like realistically project things.
Well, and I don't care. I mean, I hope they're tired traveling to San Diego because that's who I got to win the World Series this year. So,
I honestly, at this point, I'm looking at the brackets here. It does look like the winner of the San Diego series is probably gonna have to play the Dodgers.
oh great, and the Dodgers like to choke in the postseason, so that's perfect.
Yep. I think we're gonna have a rematch of the NLCS from a couple of years ago between the Phillies and the Padres.
Yeah, I would love to see that too. And honestly, as much as I would love the Phillies to win a World Series, I'm all in on the Padres this year. So,
Padres, I have a feeling this is gonna be the Phillies' year to win it, but I really want I'm gonna be waffling on that
mhm.
offensively. But my feeling is that like this is the best year that the Phillies are gonna have to win.
Oh,
I feel
I
this is
think you're like thinking of it that way. I think you're absolutely right.
But on the other hand, the Padres are probably the other best team overall. The thing
Yeah,
is, their team is super balanced.
it is,
Has
and not only that, on the back end of their pitching in the bullpen is absolute. I mean, they might have one of the better ones in baseball right now.
yeah,
So,
that's the thing. Like, if you have Tanner Scott, you have Robert Suarez, you have Jason Adam. Those 3 guys are as
yeah.
good of a crew as you can have at the
Oh, and
back.
they were closers on all the other teams that they were on before they got traded there. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
just like pick one of
and
your
the
3 closers to pitch for 3 innings. So
And the thing is, you still have with the Padres, you have good starting pitching. This is kind of like not like the
yeah,
Royals back in 2015 when they had like a really good bullpen and like a decent rotation.
yeah,
Like the Padres have like Dylan Cease, Michael
Yeah.
King,
Yeah.
Darvish, and Joe Musgrove, like
Oh,
all
I
really
forgot about
effective.
Darvish and Musgrove. I don't know how,
They
but
have like really effective pitching across the board, and their lineup's decent. The only thing is that I believe Hassan Kim is pretty much done for the season with his injuries, and that's going to hurt their defense.
yeah, that's true.
But other than that, I mean, the Padres are a very, very balanced team.
Yeah, yeah, and I see them. I got a friend of mine in the station who's a huge Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
And so every day now I'm like, hey man, do you know who you guys are gonna choke against? They get there, he's like, shut up, dude.
But it's still interesting because right now they have the Padres playing the Braves, but we don't even know who the Padres are going to be playing yet.
Yeah. Either
So
way, well, it should be a good. I think the NL is going to be much more exciting than the AL this year. But
I
no, it
definitely,
is playoff baseball though, and for whatever reason, it's like a playoff hockey. Just every single game is so fun to watch. So
yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if the trend continues where the teams that get the buys just yuck it up and choke.
yeah,
Because that's what's happened the last couple of years where only the Astros were like one of the only teams that got the bye that effectively held on to it.
yeah. But they were, oh man, like talk about a balanced team. They were so good that I mean, if they didn't win, I would have, as much as I don't like them, I would have been like, wow, you guys wasted a lot. So,
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see if the Dodgers actually are able to hold up this year. They have a great lineup, and although Freddie Freeman's currently injured, they think he's going to be okay for the series. But their pitching is such a mess right now. I don't know if it's
yeah,
going to hold up. I don't even think
yeah,
Clayton
and
Kershaw is going to actually pitch for them this year to choke for them.
yeah, that's that's true. I still think, I think Otani's coming out there, at least maybe from the bullpen, but
That's entirely possible. I don't know if it's going to be like immediately. I haven't heard any new updates on that yet.
yeah,
Right
so
now, Otani's trying to go for the triple crown.
yeah, and I like that the Padres aren't going to let him have it. More power to you,
I
Padres.
believe Otani has to go 4 for 5 today to get it.
Okay, well, what when he hit 56 home runs, what was he 6 for 6 that game? So not not improbable, I guess. So.
No, no, it's not, and I believe he's in Colorado.
Oh yeah, okay, well,
So crossing our fingers that Otani doesn't get another home run, so that my merchandise
yeah.
is not completely ruined, and
But
this whole
wouldn't that like messed up pennies, wouldn't that make it more valuable because you bought it before?
well, I mean, I bought so many of these. I bought a lot of 50-50 balls at the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Spoiler alert, that's what you're getting for Christmas, a 50-50 ball.
Wee. Oh, I need to actually send you your championship
Yes,
trophy
you do.
too.
You
So.
do need to send it to me because I earned it and I want to chant "We are the champions" at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Well, do you have
I'll go get a
anything?
box for it. Right. I'll go get a box for it today, so I don't forget.
I appreciate that. Do you have anything else you want to mention on the show today in the closing moments?
Oh yes, I do. The Mariners love you and hate you at the same time. Are now the fourth team since the wild card era to miss the playoffs with a rotation ERA below 3.4. Number one is the San Francisco Giants with 3.28, Tampa Bay Rays 3.34, Cincinnati Reds
What
3.37,
years were
and
those? Did they say?
uh, San Francisco 2011, Tampa Bay 2012, Cincinnati 2014, and one decade later, your Seattle Mariners.
Wow, I'm surprised that it's been this recent for some of those teams. Like the Reds having an ERA that good, and that ballpark
Right?
of theirs where they give up so many home runs.
Yeah, it's like
How do
Dean
you have an
City there.
ERA that low?
I don't, I don't know. Phenomenal pitching, which they don't have. So
I would have never guessed that a Reds team during Joey Votto's era would have missed the playoffs and have an ERA that low. Like
right? That's like
Them-
super surprising.
we
So
might have to do a deep dive on that team at some point on how they missed the playoffs that year, because that just
yeah.
seemed like a tailor-made playoff team. But
They had a win percentage of 54.2% too. The Tampa Bay Rays had a win percentage of 57.9% and still managed to miss. So
well, I mean, some of that's because they play in the AL East, and
yeah, AL Beast. Yeah,
AL
that's true.
Beast, yeah, the best division in baseball.
Yeah,
Or not.
I always want to argue that, but I just can't. So
No. All right, well, that's the show for today. We'll talk to you guys next week, and have a good one.
bye bye now.